Well, I'll tell you what, if you're watching, you're the first one here because this is the show before the pre-show, before the preempt, before the prelude to the pre-show. Anyway, stay tuned. It's going to be a good show talking about the my predictions for 2024, and we're going to review predictions from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 to see how accurate we all were together. So sit tight, don't go anywhere. And yeah, hold on a second. Let's get this screen ready. Yeah, here it is. All right, be right back. All right, let's see what we got going on here. It's a new year. It's a new year. A new year. A year that is new. Yes, indeedy. Welcome. Glad you're here. Those of you that are early risers or early attenders, let's put it that way. It was really funny. I tried something new. You know how when you have a YouTube video, which is what we're making right now, and excuse me, I had something to snack on before I started. And the first, 5 seconds of a YouTube video, when you're in YouTube watching videos, the first 5, maybe 20 seconds will play. At least that's the way it's set up on my systems. And it'll just, it won't really play them, but it plays them. And you can scroll on or whatever, move on to the next one, and it'll play some of that one until it reaches its 20-second or 30-second limit, and then it'll go silent. And I thought, well, there's a great place to put in a little message at the very beginning so people know what's going to go on to. Otherwise, you just get the screen that we just had, the little poster. And I thought, well, I'll do that today. I'll put a little message at the very beginning. Well, if you like silent TV, you'll enjoy the message at the very beginning. So yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Heck, you can barely let him out in the backyard. But that's okay. Today's show is going to be fun. We're going to look back at some of our past predictions. Yep. I've picked out some. I don't know that they're my favorites, but I picked out some of them. Some of them were very accurate. Some of them have yet to come true. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, you know what? We ought to cue those up while we're waiting. So yes, I had to install vMix. Just released a new beta on 27.58, and so I had to shut everything down and install that, and then load everything back up. And so I had all these 2, 4, 6, 7 different YouTube clips saved, and I was just going to do a screen capture and bring them in. But now I probably need to, what do I need to do? I need to bring them in to vMix, but I also recorded their stream URL and the time position in it. And so I put it in a document so that I could get to them easily. So let's see if I can copy that document here. For example, you know what? I bet I can copy that document straight into vMix. Let's see. Let's move this out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. Bear with me just a second here. This is, this is pre-show. This is what happens in pre-show. Is all the things I remembered that I forgot. All right, so I've got the URL. I'm just going to pop it in there, and I'm going to put it in. Will it play automatically? Yes, looks like it's going to play automatically. Don't want it to do that because it's queued up to a particular moment in time. I wish there was a way to make that moment in time. Let's do this. Let's make it live when it's live. And let's make it full screen. Let's, yeah, we're good there. So that's 28:36. I don't know what the timing was. What is this? That's 23. 28:33 is the timing. So can we go back to 33? It's kind of funny. In YouTube, within vMix, you can't do all the things you can do to a video within vMix. All right, so let's go to the next one. We're going to add an input. It's going to be a browser. We're going to copy the URL. We are going to, and that one starts at 4551. So what we really want to do is stop it immediately. There we go. That's good. That worked. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. Thank you for bearing with me here. We only have very few more. Let's go back here. Okay, let's see where we are. There we are. There it is. So let's get our next one up. Add input, browser input, copy the URL, paste it in vMix, add the input, immediately stop the input. There we go. Make it full screen. Turn on the auto mixing so that it turns on the audio when it goes live. It doesn't turn on the video because it's not, vMix doesn't know what it is. vMix doesn't know that that's a video. So it doesn't know to start it automatically. At least I haven't figured out a way to do that. Add input, browser input, paste the URL, click OK, stop it. All right, maximize it. Where is 93? There's 93. Okay. Only 3 more. How are we doing on time here? Well, we got 6 minutes. We're good. It's interesting to be off for the holidays. Kind of missed you guys. Hate to say it. Not really. All right. And then we will pause it. That's funny. The one that I just made and paused, I was taking a breath to say something. So I stopped breathing. All right. 2 more. Add input, web browser, URL. There it is. Yep. And 1 more. This is the oldest one. 2017. Holy cow. Add a browser, not a virtual set. Okay. Okay, and then let's go down here to the audio. Turn on the automatically mix. And I think we're good. They're in reverse order. I just need to remember that. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And the echo is here. It's gone now. Well, thank you, Bill. Not sure how I echoed. What did I do? Let's make sure. I've been doing some experimenting. And one of the things I experimented with was my Behringer mixer. And I borrowed the cable from it and forgot to put it back. And so I just put it back this morning, just a few minutes ago, and had to reconnect the mixer to vMix because vMix doesn't remember. You know, if you start vMix with something plugged in USB like my Behringer audio interface and then unplug it, vMix says, oh, it's offline. Plug it right back in, and vMix says, Oh, it's still offline. It doesn't say still. It hasn't really checked again to see if it came back. It just never checked and just assumed that since it was offline forever. So when you plug it back in, you have to right click that input and select reset, and then it reconnects. So we're good. So maybe I did something there, Bill. Who knows? Who knows? I'm prone to make mistakes. But I think that's what makes it fun, because it's real. It's like, yeah, I did this. Don't you ever do this. Learn from my mistake, which nobody ever does. But that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to learn from my mistakes. Oh, this is fun. This is the rig that we're streaming with today, and you can see the video card is just paused. I mean, it's not exercising very hard at all. We've got 96 inputs at 1080p, 60. So we're asking it to do a lot of work, but right now the render times are 2 to 5 seconds. CPU, total CPU is 4 to 6%. So we're just cruising along. Bill says, you make mistakes. Oh, I guess I could put that up there instead of just repeating it. Yeah, you don't have to, but I think you do. Okay, so that guy's just, and I picked up this little case here. I kind of like it. You know, everything's out in the open. I'll get a different perspective shot next week, but everything's out in the open. So if it makes any noise, you know, it's right there. I mean, you can see my hand, and 18 inches away from my hand is the, what do you call that thing? The microphone. Yeah, that's it. So it's been an interesting experiment in that. But I'll tell you, everything, the PCs that I'm building today compared to the PCs that I built maybe 5 years ago or longer ago are so much quieter. You know, they've figured out how to put ripples or something like that on the fan blades of all these fans so that they make less noise. This particular system currently is air cooled, so it's not like I'm getting less noise because it's water cooled. It's an air cooled system, and there's a fan on the CPU. There are 3 fans on the GPU. There's a fan on the power supply, and I guess that's it. If I was using one of several different Blackmagic capture cards, they would have fans on. Same thing for some of the Magewells, I think. The Uons don't. They use a different technology on the chips, and the chips don't run as hot. So that may be part of that. But it's been a real reliable system. It runs 24/7. I haven't, other than turning it off periodically to install new hardware, or swap out old hardware that I want to put something in and I want to test. For example, right now, one of the things I'm testing is this little guy right here, and that is a PCIe to M.2 adapter. So I can pop an M.2 solid state drive, even if I run out of space on the motherboard, technically, I can put that little device in there and add an M.2 drive. And I think it's, no, that one isn't, but some of them are actually X1 sizes. So yeah. Yep. There we go. Well, it is game time. So let's get this game on the road, shall we? We're going to use our X keys. Come on. I rearrange things and sometimes cables get caught. This is, oh yeah, this is my X keys. And you notice all these different keys of different types and sizes and colors. And some I made myself and some X keys provided with the system. This is the X keys XK80 because it has 80 buttons on it, but some of the buttons, like this one right here, which used to be the cough button. Let's see if it still works. Yeah, that works. I should remember that. It's got a little vMix banana guy on it, Dan the banana guy right there. And yeah. Anyway, X Keys XK80, they're in our store. They're great because all you have to do is hit the pink button to start the show. Ta-da! So exciting to bring to you a new year. Well, actually, you're already in the new year. I didn't bring it to you. It came whether we wanted it to or not. 23 was not that bad a year for me personally, other than the fact that, I had some surgeries and that kind of stuff, personally, all taken care of. Had a grandbaby back in March. Great little guy, love seeing him. Got another one coming up next month. First little girl born in our family in 95 years. Holy cow. Anyway, but enough about you. Let's talk about me. I mean, you know what I mean. So looking forward to 2024. I'd love to do this show. I've done it, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. I've done it the last 7 years. So this will make the 8th year that we've done a prediction show. And some of it's been, tongue in cheek, and some of it's been a real effort to make some serious predictions. I must admit, the older I get and the more I do this show, the more tongue in cheek I get, and the less I attempt to come up with new, accurate information about what the future holds. So yeah, accurate information about the future. I get that. So I don't have any great graphics, but what I do have is I have video. So what I thought we would do is maybe go back through I picked one thing from each of the last 2, 4, 6, 7 years. 7 years. I don't have very good memory, do I? I picked one thing from each of the last 7 years that I wanted to show you, me in the flesh or on video anyway, predicting. So let's do that. Let's queue up the. We'll do it from newest to oldest. We'll queue up last year's first, and let's see. Let's get it right here. Here we go. No surprise. In 2023, did I say 2022 just a second ago? Oh my goodness. In 2023, there will be my first prediction, and I feel pretty confident with this prediction, that vMix will release version 26. I know that's shocking news, but I think I feel very confident. I don't think, but I don't know. But I'm somewhere between thinking and knowing. I feel very confident that vMix will release version 26 during the calendar year 2023. And so there you go. I was right. vMix did release version 26 during calendar year 2023. Barely. And we are in a remarkably similar position right now, with version 27 being the current beta. And now 27 now holds the record in vMix world for the most dot versions of a major version. And it hasn't even been released yet, because as of 3 or 4 days ago, 27 has a new dot version, dot 58. It cleans up just a few bugs. It's not a big deal. But with the note all this is coming from the vMix forum. There's a whole special beta section in the vMix forum where it talks about the history of this and gives each one of the changes, the change log on each version, as well as a whole opportunity for you to start your own thread about what you've got a question on or what you think is a bug, those kinds of things. Hey, Ed, welcome. Glad to have you. And so I invite you to take a look at that. That's forums, plural, forums.vmix.com. You can go to the beta forum. So that was last year's prediction. 2023, I predicted that vMix would release version 26 in 2023, and I was right. Let's have another one, shall we? Let's take that one out of the mix, and we will go straight to this one. I guess we have to start it. Here's one. This is funny. As I was looking up this, I found out, when will TikTok embrace live streaming? TikTok is, sweeping the country. If you're younger than 15 or 22 or whatever, you know all about it. If you're my age, it's something you just sort of stumbled on. Where did this come from? And actually, TikTok did release limited live streaming last year, 2021, in December. So if you're a big TikTok user, you might want to look into that and see if you can't get access to it. They have allowed it to a limited number of their users, and could be pretty big. And yes, it has been pretty big. TikTok, infamous for doing shorts, so much so that now YouTube does shorts and Facebook does shorts. In fact, Facebook may be piggybacking on some TikTok technology. I'm not up on that. But interesting that, yes, TikTok may now account for almost as many views as YouTube, certainly in the short format. All right, let's go back. That was 2022. Let's go to 2021. This is interesting. Number two, I'm excited about. And we've seen this back in 2020, and I think we'll see it more in 2021, 2022, is that products will be developed specifically for live streaming, because live streaming is no longer kind of this little teeny microscopic niche filled by hobbyists and maybe a few schools or a few businesses, but now it's become absolutely positively accepted as part of the norm. And I would even go so far as to say live streaming is now mainstream. So there you go. Do you think that came true? We certainly are seeing tons of products that are live stream specific. Little devices that will allow you to plug cameras into them, and you can switch cameras on that little device. You can add audio, you can do graphics, lower thirds, intended for live streaming. That's what it was intended for. That was the market. It's built. There are lots of different little boxes that go into that category. Cameras, I think, live streaming is a big market for cameras, especially for churches. And we're going to get to that here in just a second. Is that one coming up yet? No, that was 2021, specific gear for live streaming. Let's go back to 2020. This one's funny. All right. Going down the list here. Stay with me. This is my prediction for 2020 and the 2020s. 2020s. Was it a garbage truck that just went by? I don't know. It probably was just my voice. I get a little cranky sometimes. In the 2020s, 8K will be used in live streaming. 8K! Oh my God, 8K! No, nobody can watch 8K. It can't possibly be done. I know that. But if we can get a decent 8K camera at a decent price and get it into a vMix production, we can get Martin Sinclair to get off his fanny and unlock 8K in vMix, which you probably can do already. You just can't get to it. Then we can do a real regions of interest. We can get an 8K camera, we can stick it on the back wall in the church, and we can get the whole service as if there were 10 different cameras on that. We don't get angles now, but we get individual shots. So that's my idea of 8K. Number one, get Martin Sinclair off his, you know what. But hasn't really happened yet. Although I hear more talk about 8K, haven't seen any big shift in that direction. I have noticed more and more folks that are talking to us about building computers for them want it to either be future proofed for 4K or want to be able to do 4K right off the bat. That's part of the requirements. So it's interesting that 4K is now kind of swinging into the mainstream, into the middle of the river. It'll be interesting to see if 8K gets in on the edges of that river in the future. That was my prediction for the year 2020. And as I said, the 2020s, which we're still in. So let's see. This is this is kind of tongue in cheek from 2019. Prediction number 3. And I had to work hard on these predictions, so you have to pay attention. In fact, I want you to take notes because I'm predicting that in 2019, vMix will be, I hated to predict this. I hated to predict it. But I predicted that vMix is going to be sold for $100 million to Amazon. That Amazon. That was partially tongue in cheek, but partially fear and dreading. And at least as of what I know today, that hasn't happened. I do remember working at the vMix booth at NAB, maybe 2017, 2018, something like that. And somebody from Microsoft coming up and looked at my name tag, which of course my last name is Sinclair, the same as Martin Sinclair, the founder, one of the founders of vMix. And I guess maybe he thought I was Martin. I looked old, so maybe, I knew something. He said, "Why haven't we bought you?" And I said, "You can't afford us." So the conversation went downhill from there. Actually, it was a great conversation. It was a lot of fun for me to, kind of play with him like that. You can't afford us. You can't afford us. Besides, you'd ruin us. Anyway, okay, that was 2019. vMix to be bought by Amazon for $100 million. To my knowledge, that has not yet happened. Let's take a look at this one from 2018. This is kind of interesting. Number 4. Yes, indeed. I predict that net neutrality will become the answer to a trivia question. What happened? Boy, was I right on with that one. Net neutrality has not been, at least not on my radar, maybe on your radar, but on my radar, net neutrality has not been a thing. It's a non-issue. And if you're going, net neutrality, that proves my point. It didn't matter. All right, last one from 2017. 2017. So 2017, that's 7 years ago. 7 years ago, this is my prediction. More churches will begin to live stream because it fits perfectly with their mission. How about that? Not only was that true, has that been true, but the churches that began to live stream in 2017, 2018, 2019 were perfectly positioned for the pandemic that hit in 2020 and 2021 so that they could continue to be in contact with their membership. Yeah, really, really great. Really, really great for them, and certainly great for us because that's what we do is help people get into live streaming with the right gear and training. So I've come up with 5 predictions for 2024, although we might fudge on some of them and say 2025 as well. The first is, and I think this is gonna happen. Let me tell you what it is before I explain it too much. Bonded portable internet is going to be more widespread and more affordable. One of my buddies, Rich, wants to come on the show and show me a creation that he has where he has bonded some SIM cards together very simply and very inexpensively. And I think that's going to be a thing. I think lots and lots of people are going to do it, and we're going to see lots and lots folks that will kind of take these home brews and merge them into a real product. It wouldn't surprise me to see somebody like Magewell come out with something like that. Maybe maybe even BirdDog. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So that's number one, bonded internet. Number two, my prediction is that vMix will release a version of vMix. Maybe it's version 28. Maybe it's just an addendum to version 27. I don't know. And it might be a split off, although I know they hate to do that because they don't like to support two different versions of vMix, which is why they haven't ever done, part of the reason why they haven't done a Mac version is because they didn't want to have to support two of them. And I know it's driving the Wirecast people crazy to support two different versions. But I think vMix is going to release a vertical version of vMix. That's right. It's going to release a version of vMix that plays well normally, naturally on the phone. None of this, cropping a section of the screen. And I had to look at my screen here for just a second to make sure I was putting it in the right place. No more cropping a section of the screen and pretending like all this stuff out here doesn't exist. I think vMix is going to do one where the program output inside of vMix is in this position. And maybe all the inputs are that way too. I mean, it'll be just dedicated for folks that are doing vertical streaming. We'll see. You heard it here. You heard it here. That's number two. Let me check these off as we go. My prediction for 2024 is that BirdDog will ship the X120 that was announced back in 2015. No, I'm teasing the BirdDog guys. Maybe I'm teasing. Anyway, I've had to refund several customers that bought an X20 last year because it was going to be coming right out any month. And it hasn't yet shipped, but I did get a notice the other day that the X120 will ship in 2024. And my big prediction is that one of the reasons why they've held off on this is because not only is the X120, which is going to be a 20X wireless battery operated PTZ camera, but there will be the X240, which will be a 40X lens wireless NDI battery powered camera. That's my prediction. The X240. So we'll see. Will be interesting. My prediction on that one. That's number three. Prediction number four is that X keys, manufactured by the folks at PI Engineering, will finally, after many years of study and prototypes and testing and display at multiple NABs, will finally release their modular X keys keyboard setup. I've seen it. It's really cool. You can pop in modules that'll do joysticks, or there's even a typewriter module, or like a regular X keys module that just has keys on it, or a T-bar module, and you can set it up any way you want. I love it. Can't wait to see it. Is 2024 the year? Is 2024? If you're sitting there at PI Engineering right now, ask yourself, is 2024 the year where we put this to market? It could well be. That's my fourth prediction. Fifth prediction is, and it may already have happened, I probably should have done some research on this, but during the year 2024, PTZ Optics will sell its millionth camera. You talk about a juggernaut in the camera business from what, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, to next to, where they were just a virtual unknown in the foothills of Pennsylvania, to maybe B&H's most popular camera company. I don't know. Certainly, Amazon is a popular camera company. There, you can find a PTZ Optics camera at a truck stop. You can find a PTZ Optics camera, in a single stoplight town that has a church and a drugstore. And it probably won't be in the drugstore, but it'll probably be in the church. So 2024, my fifth prediction is that PTZ Optics will sell its millionth camera. So take that one to the bank. Take that one to the bank. So to recap, 2024 bonded internet will be, wireless bonded internet will be widespread and affordable, perhaps a little homebrew at first, but eventually it'll kick around to something that somebody really manufactures as a product. Number two, vMix will release a vertical streaming version of vMix where everything is vertical. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Number three, BirdDog to ship the X120 and to surprise everybody with the X240 wireless battery powered PTZ cameras. Number four, X Keys to release the modular X Keys keyboard, joystick, everything you want it. Yeah. Number five, PTZ Optics will sell its millionth camera. In fact, they can sell it to me. Send it to me. I'll send a PO, but just go ahead and send it to me. Send it to me. I want that millionth camera. I do. So there we go. So we'll see in 2024 how many of these predictions come to light. And it's interesting to go back to the previous years and see, I just picked out some of them, but I'll put, for those of you that are watching this on replay after the fact, check in the descriptions. I'll put the links to 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023's predictions. That's 7 of them, plus this one makes 8. I'll put those in the description of this so you can go to those and see those easily. Yeah, so that's it. A little bit of news. I'm currently running the latest version, the latest beta version of vMix 27, which is .58. It was released a couple of days ago with a note by Martin Sinclair that says this may well be the last beta version. Essentially, is what he says. So I think the official release of get excited about this. The official release of vMix 27 is imminent. What that means for you is if you have not updated your vMix in a year, you might not be able to use vMix 27. You may have to purchase an update in order to do that. It doesn't mean anything except you spend $60 and you go to the vMix website, or you can go to our website. We've got them there too. And spend your $60, put in your license key, and within minutes, boom, your license key is updated. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to wait for an email or anything like that. It just takes a few minutes kind of administratively to update your license. And then you can download and install vMix 27 right on top of vMix 26. All your shortcuts, all your settings, everything like that should be saved. Haven't heard of anybody with any problems on that. That has been, kind of an issue for some people on some of the older versions of vMix when they went from maybe 23 to 24 or something like that. But I haven't heard of anybody having any problems with that between 26 and 27. But it's always a good idea to export your settings. That's one process. And to, of course, save all your presets. So there you go. So go ahead and in fact, you may just want to go ahead and update and download the beta and start using it because it's great. I mean, I've used it since it very first came out. I don't know how long it's been, but I've used it since it was the first beta that we could get our hands on. And I got my hands on it the same time you did. I didn't get any special treatment. So it's been great. I haven't had any problems with it. Well, I did find some bugs, and I'll have to test and see if those bugs are still there. They were with some of the Zoom stuff originally, and I can't wait to be doing some actual Zoom stuff. In fact, maybe you and I can get together on some of that. Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, so vMix 27 out soon. If you need help with any of that, let me know. I have been promising for a while to do another vMix 101 class, and I think once vMix 27 gets out in the wild, we'll go ahead and do that again with an emphasis. Well, maybe a vMix 201 class with an emphasis on vMix 27 and what's new in it, because there really is a lot of depth to this one. I mean, there's Zoom integration, and you say that like it's a toss away, but there's a lot to the Zoom integration. Really is deep, and I'm not up on all of it yet, so I'm going to have to get up on it so that I can share that with you. So that's vMix 27. If you, on a different but related subject, if you find yourself or your church or your company or your school or your university or whatever in a need for a live streaming PC that runs vMix, that's what I do. I build those rascals. I've got them on the workbench behind me right now. I'm building a couple for a big corporation up in Illinois, and behind that I've got one for a church in Florida. And then after that is one that I can't tell you about. Sorry about that. Let me put it this way. At least I probably shouldn't say anything about it yet. But I'd be happy to share it with you later. So happy to do that. It's a joy to me to build these systems. I build the systems. I get to play with it. And sometimes I don't want to let it go because it's so much fun. And then I say, well, if I can do that on their system, I can do that on my system. And so anyway, yeah. So let's go to the post show. Love hanging out with you guys, and we'll hang out some more in post show right after this. All right, we are in post show where there is no echo, Bill Connor. Just want to let you know. It may have been earlier. And then he saves me and says, it's gone. I like Bill. He saves my bacon more often than not. So, Ed, I got to ask, and if you're still around, so happy streaming New Year. I get that. But was the E, the capital E, a typo, or was there something ye that you wanted to get through to me on that? I can't really tell. Ye. His predictions for 2024 is a streaming company that will introduce haptic equipment interface for gamers. I'm going to have to Google haptic. I am not sure what that means. Hold on a second. Haptic. Haptic. Oh, okay. Haptics is defined as a technology that transmits tactile information using sensations such as vibration, touch, and force feedback. I thought they were already doing that kind of stuff. Because I can remember playing games with my kids when they were kids, and the joystick would vibrate. If you crash or something like that, it would give you a little vibration. Maybe you're talking about something more serious than that. So Mike wants to know how many of these predictions are jokes versus serious. Well, the ones from the last 7 years, vMix release in 26, that was serious. TikTok, I think that was serious. I thought because 5 or 6 years ago, I had predicted that Facebook Live, the streaming portion of Facebook, was going to bomb, and I was just 1,000% wrong on that one. It's very, very popular, and we use it for our church every Sunday. And so when TikTok came around, I said, I'm not making that mistake again. I'm predicting that TikTok is going to be a great place for streamers, but I didn't realize that it was going to be shorts. The 8K prediction was just a swag, a simple wild A guess, and it hasn't happened yet. vMix being purchased by Amazon, you never know. Net neutrality, yeah, I could tell that was just a political stunt is really what it was. Somebody wanted something somewhere and they got it, and we'll never know about it. And then churches embracing live streams, from 2017, it was just a natural. It was a natural. I mean, and back then, I think in 2017, I said, Mike, that it was the creator of the universe that invented live streaming. I mean, he invented everything. He invented how electrons work. He crafted this whole thing. And so it's not a surprise to him that we came up with live streaming. And it's a perfect way for his church, especially during the crisis of the 2020s, early 2020s, the crisis of COVID, for the churches to get to stay attached and for memberships to stay attached. I have one client that up until maybe 3 weeks ago, they had never live streamed, but they'd had my equipment for 2 years, and they were doing everything over what do you call that stuff? Zoom. So they weren't streaming, but they were making the service available on Zoom, and all the church members were on Zoom. And so they could participate as individuals within the collective on Zoom, and even had parts in the service. I mean, it was really great. I need to get Rick on the show and talk about that. That was really cool. And now, after 2 years, they feel comfortable enough with all the gear and everything else to do the live streaming. Rick is the one at the church that came up with the little actuator door that takes his PTZ Optics camera and turns it out so that it's not facing the altar and what's going on in the front of the church, but rather it's facing the back of the church, so we can get that shot down the aisle at the bride coming up the aisle. Brilliant guy. But my predictions this year: bonded internet becoming affordable, and an affordable actual manufactured product. I think that's doable. I think that's going to happen. vMix to release vertical streaming, a little tongue in cheek. They've made some, kind of little brush off modifications to vMix to do that. But could they? Should they? Would they? Might they? And BirdDog to ship the X120, I think that's going to happen. And it would be just like BirdDog to have a surprise, and kind of as a half apology for screwing up the timeline. I know it wasn't their fault. I know it was a supply chain thing, but as kind of a half apology for screwing up the release of the X120, to have a bad boy in the X line, because I think there's going to be an X line with the BirdDog folks. PI Engineering, X Keys to finally release the modular keyboard. I hope so. I'm going to keep poking at them until they do. And then PTZ Optics to sell 1 million cameras. Yeah. I don't know how many they've sold so far, but yeah, that's doable. I think it's doable. We'll see. So, am I playing poker? Or am I playing a long game? Of course, Tommy, I can predict the winning lottery numbers. Give me your lottery money that you would have spent on lottery tickets, and I will give you a winner. This is too funny. All right, let's see. Make sure you get any updates from TS, from Tom S. Yes, you can get them through our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com. He has given so much to this medium. I am not a medium, not a fortune teller. Don't do tarot cards, Tommy. Come on. I know you're teasing. Mike says vMix 201 would be interesting, especially if it focuses on the vMix on the features of vMix 27, as you indicated. I think that would be the benefit. I mean, there's some things in the Mike, you've been through the 101 class, vMix 101, and you know what do? We skim the surface with the top 20% of what vMix will do. There's so much more, and we haven't gotten into. We didn't get into scripting. We didn't get into shortcuts interrelated to triggers and nesting all those things one in the other. I mean, there's so much, and that's just on old stuff. We virtually didn't touch replay. There's so much to vMix. It's an incredible, incredible piece of software. But maybe I need to do, maybe what we could do, Mike, is to do a workshop, a vMix 27 workshop, and do it on a, Saturday, maybe, I don't know. And, and not just me, but some other folks that would be in the know that could come in and give some presentations on different parts of this, and then we could talk about it afterwards, and then the next person could step up to the mic, kind of thing. I just need to find some folks that know as much about vMix 27 as you and I do. I think this is back when I was talking about the echo. And Ed says there was no real indication, and no real intention, rather, that that 2024 be a year. Smell-o-vision. That's right. I love it. That would be great. And it's probably doable. Somebody's probably already created it. You just have to have some chemicals that are attached to your television and an extra signal channel to send a signal to turn on the sulfur or whatever it is. Well, Stephen, that's a great question. Is vertical vMix a thing, or is it sort of a thing? And I think it's sort of a thing. What I'm talking about there is, I mean, when I'm looking at my vMix production in front of me right now, I see landscape boxes of everything. All my assets are landscape, unless of course I've minimized them and then they're just, tall and skinny. Everything is landscape. And I'm talking about a version of vMix where everything is portrait. It is a camera version. How much trouble would that be? Obvious, well, not obvious, but I think obviously you wouldn't include replay in that. You might not include multi-quarter in that. It might be a restricted version of vMix. The way vMix is currently organized is that you've got vMix Basic HD, which is limited with the number of cameras and some other limitations, and it's only $60, and it wouldn't surprise me if vMix stopped selling it sometime soon. You've got vMix HD, which is high definition video with no limitations on cameras or anything like that, but it is limited on the resolution. It's limited to HD. You've got vMix 4K, which adds replay. It adds vMix call, or maybe more vMix callers. I think HD has one. It adds replay. It adds vMix call. It adds scripts, and it adds 4K resolution. And then vMix Pro and other things. And vMix Pro has got all of that, plus it's like unlimited, whereas like 4K had one camera, vMix Pro has got 8 cameras replay, that kind of thing. So everything has been pretty consistent. It's the same product. It's just bigger, 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 bigger. And I'm talking about a different product that would be, you know, that I might have two vMixes on my desktop. One is vMix horizontal, which is traditional vMix, and one is vMix vertical. And I think there's a market there. I think there's a market of, 20 somethings that vMix is not appealing to in any way right now and could appeal to. I don't know. I'm not a 20 something, so I don't know. But I don't think vMix is a vertical streaming software. I think it's a horizontal or landscape traditional streaming software. So I would make that. That's what I was thinking. A new product. All right. Ed says his haptic interface is with the streaming. Uh-huh. Okay. I'm not a gamer, so it doesn't excite me, but I can see it. I can see it. Very interested to see what kind of affordable bonded internet solutions emerge. Yeah, Rich is going to come on the show soon. Rich, you're going to come on the show soon. You're going to come on the show soon because he has made one. Raspberry Pi based, I believe. And, somebody will take that, somebody will steal his idea and bring it to market. They'll send it to India or China or someplace, and engineers will cobble something together pretty quickly, and they'll have something out on the market. And then somebody else will pick up on it. It'll be a no-name company, perhaps. If you've ever been to NAB, or at least the old NABs before COVID hit, there would be just a whole room, or the whole back of the room, of folding tables with little teeny companies that were there. They had a folding table and they had a device, and that was it. And that's where a lot of folks, including RJ, my friend RJ, like to go first to see what was, what's the future hold. Yep, it's going to be interesting to see that is. Yes, Stephen, I agree. It was how to adapt our software to do this, but our software doesn't do it naturally. I want a new natural product. vMix Workshop, FTW. Are you a teenager? Come on, Ed. What is FTW? Oh, for the win. Psh, of course. You probably are a teenager. Let's do that. Let's do that. I got some stuff on the burners right now, but let's do it. Isn't that always the case? Agreed on opportunities to go deeper in lots various, maybe poll registrants on areas of interest to focus on. Yeah. 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 And the other thing, well, it's hard to do it. It's hard to do it in the moment because you may not be prepared for what people are interested in. If they're interested in things you're not thinking about. Good idea, though. Clint's here. My grandsons are watching with me and want me to say, hey, they may very well be future streamers. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. If they've got any of their granddad's moxie and skill, they're going to be getting it in there. Yeah, big shout out to you guys, you little Goyans. Welcome, Gunner. Glad you are here. It would be interesting to see how vMix 27 works in virtual machine on AWS. That's a great question, Ed, and I really appreciate you bringing that up because I have always wanted to do AWS and have just never taken the time to do it. I would say I don't have the time to do it, but you take time to do the things that you want to do. But that's something that I've wanted to do that I've never ventured into. Part of it is I'm afraid of going out there and giving them my credit card number and find out I signed up for something that's $1,200 an hour or something like that. Oh my gosh. Dewey Evans. Oh my gosh. A blast from the past. Good to see you. Boy, it's been love to follow you on Facebook. And just, love when you show some of the players that you've coached in your past and your lovely family and all that. And I wish you the best in this new year. And you can catch up in the recording, but it's it's underwhelming as normal. Sam has joined late, and we'll try to catch up. Yeah, Sam, it's underwhelming. Although Sam is up to something. Sam, you need to share what you're up to with this Facebook broadcast thing. What is that? Is that a thing? Is that something new? Apparently, Sam was invited by Facebook to join some super elite group of Facebook broadcasters. Do tell. Yes, got that. That's the one I did get. But thank you for explaining it anyway. uh, well, it's not like you don't have any time on your hands, you old retired mayor guy, you. I mean, come on, dude. Get with it. You need to explain it to the rest of us. See, that's what us older folks can do, is we can understand this technology that the younger people have trouble understanding. And we can explain it to it. We can break it down into bite-sized chunks. Well, you don't have to tell him, but I'll tell him right now. Oldest one, you can watch this anytime you want on YouTube. You don't even have to have, you don't have to have a subscribe. I guess, do you have to have an account on YouTube? I don't know. I've been attached to this stuff for so long. Can you just fire up YouTube and watch a YouTube without being attached to it somehow? Yeah. Now, maybe you want a recording of this so that you can take it with you in the car and not have to use data or whatever they call it now when you attach yourself to the internet in the car. Although some cars have their own wireless hotspots. How crazy is that? Holy cow. The world is an amazing place. The world is an amazing place. Some of it's pretty scary, but some of it's pretty exciting. And then some of it's pretty boring. So it all depends. If it's boring, it means that's not what you're interested in, or somebody isn't doing a very good job of explaining it. If it's exciting, follow that. Follow that. If it makes you stay up late at night thinking about it or looking at pictures or reading about it or whatever. Quick story. When I was in 6th grade, 7th grade, 7th, 8th, or 9th, one of those three, there was, and this will date me, but Clint, you might have had one. There was a company that had a catalog of auto parts called J.C. Whitney. And I would stay up for hours looking through that catalog at all the different kinds of stuff, and I thought, you could probably build a car from scratch from all the gear that was in the J.C. Whitney catalog. And then I became interested in Volkswagens, and sure enough, they had a whole Volkswagen section. And as it turned out, I had a mechanical inclination that I didn't know I had. And that's why that catalog fascinated me. I also had a research inclination that I didn't realize and didn't understand at the time. I didn't care to research school subjects at all unless it happened to interest me. But if it interested me, I would turn it upside down until I found out what was going on about it. Still am the same way. So congratulations to grandson, the older one, finding something you're interested in. Go for it. We're going to look forward to your grandsons participating in the chat in the future so they can teach us a few things. Well, it's a joy to have your grandsons involved. It is. Clint remembers the J.C. Whitney catalog. I think it was my dad that introduced me to that because he was a notorious penny pincher. And I don't know that he ever ordered anything from J.C. Whitney, but I think just the idea of it intrigued him. And so I ended up picking up one. It was just like, oh, wow, look at all this. That was cool. That was back in the days when I wanted a mini bike too. And the Christmas that rolled around that I didn't get a mini bike when I was expecting one was very disappointing. But that was a good lesson too. Well, B's and G's, boys and girls, I got to get to work. I've loved chatting with you. Always loved chatting with you guys. Excited about this upcoming year. I think we're going to have some really cool shows. Got some folks that I've tentatively lined up, although we haven't set any dates, but want to get Rich on the show to talk about his bonded internet thing. Want to get Rick on the show to talk about what he's doing at his church with the Zoom broadcasting. Want to get Joe DeMax to come on and talk about the cool things that he's doing with central control. Heck, we might even be able to get some of the BirdDog, we could get the BirdDog folks on. We could get the PTZ Optics folks on. We could get the X Keys folks on and ask them about my predictions. Ooh, let's do that. That would be fun. It would be, and the vMix guys about vertical streaming. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. There we go. There's a setup. We'll get started. All right. Oh, Ed. There's always one in every class. He's such a suck up. I'm teasing, of course. Thank you. I appreciate the thumbs up. Absolutely. Yeah, it helps the algorithm. I guess that's what they say. They say like, subscribe, and notify. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna do all that. I do one last thing, when I watch a YouTube video that I get something out of or that I enjoy, I do give it a like. In fact, sometimes I'll even go back to it if I forget to later and give it a like, because it's a thank you to the person that made it. And if it helps them get more views because YouTube decides it's worth more internal promotion, then good. I mean, it means I've done my job, to thank them for doing that. A lot of times these are already folks I'm already subscribed to, some mechanic shows, would you believe that? And tech shows, yeah, and sports shows. But yeah. So Ed says chat helps more these days. Really? Huh. I thought the comments helped more than the chat. That's interesting. So typically I don't get a lot of comments. I get some, but I don't get a lot. But every now and then there'll be, one that just takes off for some reason, and there's a lot of commenting on it, but generally not. There we go. Subscribe, like, and share. You guys do whatever you think is right. No Patreon. All right. Later, guys. Be good. Be good people. Do good things. Thanks for watching.